Welcome, partners in crime. It's great to have you with us today. I am so excited to welcome Valerie Biel. Welcome, Valerie.
Well, thanks for having me. I never get to do anything live. It's always recorded. So this is very exciting. I know a lot of people will watch this on replay, right? But
Yeah.
for those of you joining us live, welcome. This is exciting. We can't edit anything out, so I better be on my A game today. So
You are always on the ball, Valerie. We are good to go. Now, for the few of you that don't know, Valerie writes award-winning books for middle grade through adult audiences. Now, her stories are inspired by her travels and her insatiable curiosity. When she's away from the computer, which really isn't very much, she's likely in her garden reading a book or traveling with her husband. They have a nonprofit charity that they travel together and they go on a lot of trips for that. Um, she calls a tiny portion of her family's estate and farm in Wisconsin home, but she still wants her Irish cottage.
I
I
do.
can't say I blame you. That just sounds like, especially after reading this entire series, that's
You
all
can
I
see
want right
why.
now.
Yeah, you can see why I might want to. I imagine this, rental for the summer, right? On some
Yeah.
lovely, rugged Irish coast. And then I wonder if I'd actually get it. I'd probably be like, let's go here, let's go there, right? So
So, can you tell us a little bit about the Circle of Nine series?
I sure can. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I babbled there with the internet. I should be fine here. I live in the middle of a cornfield, so who knows? Like some days it's bad. It should be good now though. We have like fiber optics. So yeah, let me tell you about it. So you know how on Amazon they have like the series description and a lot of people don't put a series description in there. They just put in, they let the first book's
Right.
description bleed over. So I actually wrote one. So pardon me for reading this because I didn't like memorize this whole thing. But so, welcome to the Circle of Nine world, where the descendants of one of Ireland's founding tribes, the Tuatha De Danann, are sworn to guard the mystical power of Ireland's ancient places. The Circle of Nine are the chosen women who possess the knowledge and power to keep the ancient traditions alive and safe from those who want to steal this power for themselves. It's a fast paced mix of magic, self discovery, and Celtic mythology for fans of coming of age stories with a mystical twist. If you love ancient legends, enchanted stone circles, and family secrets, you'll be drawn to Brigit Quinn's journey into a world where her true power could be her greatest strength or her downfall. So there it is. It's won all the books except for like the novella collection have won awards. The novella collection, it's hard because like that's a weird thing to submit to awards, and there's not a lot of awards for like novella collections. And each of the books has been a bestseller in their categories on Amazon. So
Oh, I can imagine. So, and I had planned to just read the first book to prepare for the interview, and I read the entire series in like 2 weeks. Could
did
not
you?
put them down.
Oh, you make me feel so good. So yeah,
I
so
knew I
this is
was
the
going to enjoy it, but wow. I mean, they were amazing. And I love those covers.
yeah, I'm so glad I have someone who helps me with those. I'm not artistic, and we all need a little help on this journey. So like you have helped me with blog tours, and there's always it's a team effort, right, on this stuff. But
Right.
um, I think I made the right decision. I've rebranded those recently, uh,
Mhm.
and the old covers were fine, but I think part of it was that when I first wrote them, I was really thinking more about historical fantasy,
Yeah.
and those covers are here. But I think you can all say if you saw the new ones, this is the old first cover. It was time for an update. It was. So, what are you gonna
I
do?
mean, it really fits the new covers really fit the series and the whole journey. They're beautiful.
I think it's, when you look at YA fantasy covers right now or anything in that magical, witchy realm, you need something that's got a little more sparkle. So,
They're
cheap.
definitely sparkly.
So she, my cover designer, her name's Amanda Matthews. It's AM Design Services. Or Design Studios, I should say. She took my travel photos and then stylized them. So these are
Really?
real places. All the places on the cover are real.
That's so cool.
It is kind of cool.
Wow, she's amazing.
Again, couldn't have done this myself. So.
Can you tell us what originally inspired the Circle of Nine?
So I joke about, how traveling is like my jumping off point, and it really is a lot of times. And so the Beltany Stone Circle, Beltany, it's a real place. And it is in County Donegal, which is the far northwestern county of Ireland, not usually on people's travel itineraries. And it's almost cut off by the way the Northern Ireland border kind of cuts in. There's not a whole lot of, the Republic of Ireland, like access point, if you will. Um, it is a stone circle that is actually bigger in circumference than Stonehenge. It's not as tall. It's maybe the tallest stone is maybe about 3 yards tall. So definitely, like 9 feetish. Definitely taller than most of the stone circles in Ireland. But it's an incredible place. And I just got, I went down the rabbit hole on information. And you can only get so much that is known about it. The archaeological record. When was it built? It's oriented toward the sun on Beltane, which is May Day, May 1st. And it's, how these things have been structured or built, and it's like 5,000 years old. And the fact that the orientation is so accurate to the sun, it's like anything, it's like the pyramids or whatever. It's always fascinating when something matches up, like, directionally for a solstice or an equinox or something. Um, anyway, I read everything I could read about it, and then the rest of the information is legend or mythology. And so a lot of these places are part of Irish myth. And in Celtic mythology, there are four founding tribes of Ireland, and that's then where my next reading took me. And then, of course, I picked the coolest founding tribe of Ireland from Irish myth to be the ancestors of the modern day characters in my books. So,
And that's so cool. So, how much research did you need to do into the mythology?
I did a lot. I mean, I could pivot my computer. There's an entire shelf of books that I actually own on
Yeah.
Irish and Celtic mythology, also Wicca and witchcraft and early pagan practices, and the intersection of when Christianity came through, and paganism was parts of paganism were incorporated in a
Mhm.
way, to make it more palatable to the people, right? So it's lots of research. I can't even imagine, and I still read it just for fun, and I'm still learning things, right? There's a lot of books out there, Greek and Roman and even Norse mythology, Neil Gaiman and Norse mythology, but there's not a ton that incorporate Celtic or Irish. So I really appreciated just learning, and I always love that. I like really love to learn a lot of things, and I try to incorporate stuff without being like textbooky or preachy or weird, in a fiction novel, because nobody needs that. But I gotta say though, the one funny thing is I live in a really small town, and I started to request all these witchcraft books from the library because I didn't need to own them. I was just like checking it out. So like the Wicca stack of books, right? And
Yeah.
in a good way, not in a like a weird, like dark occult way, and
Yeah.
light and airy, good, white witch kind of way. And the librarians who I've known, like it's so small here. These are people that I'm probably related to in some long distant cousin way. Just were like, are you okay? Like, and they finally somebody asked, yeah, we've been noticing this, but we didn't really want to say anything. I said, just wait. There's a
Just
whole.
talking about it though.
I know they were in the back room. I'm afraid that does happen. Although, I mean, whatever. It's small town, which I do incorporate that whole, atmosphere into my books too, because small towns get really weird sometimes.
Well, and I loved how you pulled in the first book, the small town together, and you showed how Bridget was affected by, what people said and by other residents, yeah, it was really great. It was obvious that you're from a small town.
Yes, it is. How about you? Are you from a small town?
I am.
Okay, see, it resonated.
Completely, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just accidentally running into people or never absolutely running into people that you're like, how did I never run into these people? Like we're in the same path all the time. So it's
Yeah.
odd.
I know. And my husband's from a big city. He grew up out in DC.
Mhm.
The poor guy, I mean, like, he's like, you know everyone. I said, I can't. I mean, like, you just live here long enough, but you run into people. And then it's bad, though, too. Sometimes your memory fails you, and you were like in, ninth grade algebra with this person, but you really don't remember their name anymore. So there's moments where, like, if I don't introduce you, you have to say your name. And then they'll say their name back. Oh, dear God.
So, all right, now Bridget like really struggled to fit in.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of it was because of her mom being a little weird. So, can you share a little bit about that and what you hope that people will resonate?
And I think, look, every teen wants to fit in. It doesn't matter how cool of a mom or a dad you are. At a certain point, you are the least cool person on the planet. And could you just please drop me off a block from school, right? Like, don't come in. Are you wearing that? That kind of thing, right? I mean, do we all, as parents, know that phase? So
Mhm.
Bridget's got a little bit of a bigger problem. So they live in a house that's kind of considered the witchy house. The yard isn't really lawn, it's just full of all of these plants because her mom uses them for her magic and spells, and for also her business, which she makes soaps, lotions, perhaps even potions and things from this garden that's like the scary
Yeah.
house garden. But her mom is just an odd duck. She wears very ethereal, outfits even when it's freezing cold. They're from Massachusetts, and she should be wearing, more sturdy clothing, and she's not. And they've just always been known as the odd people, and she's been really the witch's daughter her entire life. And that doesn't work. Kids want to be normal. They want to fit in. They don't want to stand out. Maybe at a certain age you do, and you start to own it, but that's not every kid. Most teens just want to fit in. So this is a big problem for her. And I think that resonates, right? I think that makes sense for, the experience of most teenagers.
Yeah, it does. And why did you choose Massachusetts instead of Wisconsin?
Part of it was okay. So you've only read the first book?
I've read all of them.
Oh, you've read all of them. Okay, so all right. So I won't give any major spoilers away, but Salem later plays a little bit of a role. And part of it is my other books are Wisconsin based, and I kind of just wanted to be not everything being in Wisconsin. I know Wisconsin well, but I also know enough about Massachusetts from having visited that I felt comfortable writing Massachusetts. So, but I did make a mistake. I have to tell you something funny. I was editing the book 4, and
Mhm.
I had put a kid going to camp up north, but I didn't
Yeah.
make it like a New Hampshire town or a Vermont town, which would have been normal, right? I used a Wisconsin town name. And I didn't catch it till like the final round of edits, and none of my beta readers caught it either. And I was like, oh, I would have been so embarrassed if I like had put this kid at camp up in Eel River. And I never said Wisconsin, but like, of course it's
Mhm.
whatever. Anyway, so it happens. My brain crosses over between the two.
Well, most people probably wouldn't have noticed unless they're from that area.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
probably. I
or,
probably could have gotten away with it, and maybe later on somebody'd say, "Did you realize?"
I mean, and people do give generally fiction writers a bit of latitude with that because, I mean,
Yeah, they do.
you can make up fictional rivers.
I mean, yes, and maybe there is. Who knows? Maybe there is an ego. I should check. Maybe there is one in New Hampshire or Vermont or even somewhere in Massachusetts. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so funny. Um, and the college towns play a big role, and there being a lot of colleges close in Massachusetts probably helped a lot.
It did. It did. Closer, more colleges, more prestigious colleges, more options. Yeah, it was easier to write an East Coast story this way. Plus, the flight time to Ireland shorter. Not that it really matters. They don't always use planes, right? So.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think this is a spoiler, but
Okay.
you talk about ley lines
Yes.
in the book.
Yes.
Now, are those things you had to research or are they like fictional?
It depends on who you talk to. So ley lines, energy lines that crisscross and intersect around the
Mhm.
globe are a thing.
Yes.
You will find websites, you will find books about them, you will find discussions about important places being on the same line, if you will.
Okay.
So energy lines, whether they are real or not is up for debate. I, of course, have embraced them as something that is available for travel for my certain people who have the power to travel on ley lines through these epic portals that they are able to conjure.
It was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed learning about that stuff because you don't share it in a educational kind of way. It's fun, and yeah.
I, well, I mean, and it's part of my like travel fantasy because who wants to like, be on a plane for how many hours? Like if you could just zip through a portal, I mean, that's like sort of Star Trek kind of like thing. I mean, we'd all be kind of down for it as long as our DNA didn't get mixed up, or anything like that. And we could just appear on the other end. So
It put me in mind of when we watched The Librarians, because they talked about ley lines in that.
oh, yes, I
Yes,
love that series.
my daughter and I rewatch it every couple of years. It's a lot of fun.
It is fun. It is fun. I've forgotten that they talk about ley lines in that. Yeah.
Mhm.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So now, Bridget, what do you think after all of these books and all of these adventures? What do you think she would tell herself if she could go back or would say to others?
Um, so I realized, so somebody asked me a question about theme in my books.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times authors don't think about themes until they're done. And really, in a way, you write what you're going to write, and then you kind of look back and go, oh, yeah, I kind of do have some themes. I think one of my main themes, even with my other books, is trust your instincts. And I think that is something Bridget would tell her younger self, which is to trust your instincts, and and believe in yourself. And it's really not necessarily about whether she embraces her magic or doesn't embrace her magic, but it's in a way a bigger message that we're often cued in to not trust our instincts, right? We're often cued in to say like, or maybe conditioned, I should say, to say, oh no, this person I mean, even though I don't get a good feeling about this person is surely a good person, right? They're surely decent. And then of course they turn out not to be, and you're like, oh, I wish I would have trusted, my initial instinct. And I think sometimes we suppress that, and it's not like in a magic way, but just more in a our brains have some protection built in, I think, in a way. And I think that we don't always listen
Oh,
to ourselves.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
Is that like
I mean,
too
there have been a lot of times.
esoteric? Is that too weird?
I think it's really normal. And I mean, a good thing for people of all ages to keep in mind.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's it. And also, I mean, also to to appreciate one's heritage in a way.
Yeah.
And that means something very different for Bridget than it might mean for us regular folks. So
Now, did you have a plan going into the series, or did you just write book one and then, oh,
I had no plan. I had no plan. And
really?
I mean, which is not great. It is not a great idea to start. So at first I didn't know this was my Beltany was my first book, and it actually just sat and kind of marinated for a while, and then I
Mhm.
went back to edit it. One, I didn't know if I was going to be able to finish a book. Two, I didn't know if it'd be any good, when I was done. And then I realized how much I really like this world. So I started to think through a series, but of course you're committed to those decisions you made in book one. And
Uh-huh.
so that's why I often tell people, if you're really sure you're going to write a series, perhaps really map it out, and maybe even write book one and two and don't release those until you're kind of further down the line for the next book, so that if you need to make changes, you can go back. So there's many times I've been like writing further books in the series, and I frantically am on my computer searching for different terms and things in the older books to see if I can do the thing that I want to do in the next book. And that I won't be contradicting something from earlier. So
were there any huge regrets that you had as you were writing the later books that you were like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that?
No, no. And surprisingly, even some of the things that were twisty turny in book 3 and 4
Mhm.
that, as you write, they pop into your mind and you're like, I really want to do that, like I was saying. And I went back and I was like, thank God I said this and not this. Like I can remember the writing process and thinking, well, I had a decision to make at that point, but I chose, path B, and path B worked with my brain for like book 4 or whatever. Um, and there were times where I'm like, did I describe the mother? What did I say about the mother or the mother-in-law or the whatever? Like a minor character who then pops up in a bigger way in a later book. So it's important if anybody's listening to this or watching this and they're a series writer, keep your character bible, keep your your notes in an easy to search format about everything you've made decisions about. If you from the beginning don't have to go back and do it. Yikes.
I really liked how they have the circle is a family and it's more like an extended family and a chosen family. And I really liked how you kept them together as a whole. And I mean, typical family squabbles, but nothing like they were just a family. And I really loved that
Well, and it's
aspect of books.
and it's it's interesting too. So there's 9 women. So we should
Mhm.
talk about that. So there's 9 women in the circle of 9,
Yeah.
and they each inherit their position from their mothers in this circle to be part of, the protection of these mystical places and these powers and the powers of the Tuatha De Danann. And it's uh, you know, it's an interesting thing as they hand down the position to the next person. And it's the eldest daughter. And so then there's this whole process or the tradition there becomes part of some of the plot lines, right? Whether who was able to be the next in line, and people who think perhaps they should have been. So there's normal things that would occur, like jealousies or bickering or even bigger fights about different things. um, if you saw the paper that I have to tape to my shelf, and I'm not writing in this series right now, so it's not up, or I would like show you. And I've added to it over time. But I think at some point I would love to have like my designer, my cover designer, who also did the sketch in the beginning of the book of the
Oh
Celtic Wheel
yeah.
of the Year, to create a family tree that, and I just think
Of
because
all of
he would
them.
make it
Yeah.
beautiful,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
it
that
would
would be
also be
amazing.
easier to follow because my chicken scratch.
Well, I mean, and you had a few names that were the same, but overall, they all had unique names and they were really easy to follow and easy to remember, which made it great, especially when we were going through the Descendants and stuff and reading through the novellas.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of names.
It's a lot.
I figure I'm never going to have any more children. And my kids, of course, they're going to name all the grandkids. I don't get a say in any of that. So, other than pets, I only get to name characters. And this is my one great joy of being a writer. I get to name characters.
So, okay, well, since we're talking about characters,
Yeah.
let's talk about some of your other books. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the other things you've written?
So I wanted to, so just like how writing the very first book, which was Beltany,
Mhm.
was a challenge for me to see if I could do it. I wanted to see if I could write a mystery. And I had a character in mind, but it was also really inspired by a little chapel that sits in our local cemetery in Columbus, Wisconsin. So I've loosely based this murder mystery off of that inspiration. But do I have it handy? I do. I never know what I've got within reach because sometimes I move things around.
Right.
So it's this book. This is still the approved copy, but uh, it was a delight. So this is a book that follows 16-year-old Chloe, who in the first chapter finds her dad uh, propped up against a tombstone in the cemetery where he is the caretaker, and he is dying of a drug overdose, and he is eventually pronounced dead. And it's ruled an accidental overdose, but she knows her dad was not a drug user, and she sets out to prove this wrong and find the killer, and she uncovers all kinds of family secrets and a web of family secrets. So this one came out a year ago now.
Yeah.
But it's time to write book 2. So
Oh, I didn't know that was going to be a series.
it is. So I mean, you read that one? Yeah?
No, I haven't gotten
Okay,
that one yet.
okay. So so she doesn't have, it's just her and her dad. And so her guardian is going to be her aunt. And her Aunt Maggie, who is a war correspondent and is missing for a good chunk of this book, comes back. So these are now going to be the Chloe and Maggie mysteries. So it's going to be the aunt
Oh,
and the niece, and moving forward. So the subtitle of this one is The Secret Keeper's Daughter. And we
yes.
learn, of course, a lot about Chloe's backstory and the truth behind, a lot of things. But the next one, the subtitle, I don't have the real title, the main title yet. It will be The Secret Keeper's Sister. So we're going to get more of Maggie's backstory in this next one.
Oh,
So
cool.
I mean, again, I fell in love with these characters and now I can't let them go. So a series is born.
Now, okay, so thinking about that, like you have this Circle of Nine set and then this set, and they are for young adults. They're not for middle grade. They're intended for young adults. Why did you choose young adults?
I get asked that question a lot, and it's because I just have very, very vivid recollection of what it was like to be a teen. And I
Mhm.
love that jumping off point, that coming of age jumping off point and the energy and the possibilities and also the uncertainty. It's a fun age to write for. It's a fun age for your characters to be, because they aren't all, they're not adults and they're making mistakes and they're making, judgment calls that maybe aren't great sometimes, but it's a fun place to be. Now, my cast of characters is pretty broad. Like, you get a lot of older people in this cast of characters. Um, but the main character is a teenager. Most of the main characters are teenagers, and I I appreciate that. And I'm kind of a crossover because, of course, Maggie, the aunt in this one, is a full-grown adult, and we're going to have
Yeah.
these dual, personality type thing going on there. But I really have vivid recollections. And I'll talk to people who go, gosh, I don't really remember my high school years very much. I'm like,
Huh.
how can you not remember every locker slam and snotty thing that ever went down, right? I mean, how can you not? I don't know. Like my brain just does. So I like writing for that group, but it's an interesting thing because there's so many adult readers of YA books. I
Yeah.
think I have so many more fans, in a way that are my age, and grown-ups reading it. So, and I like reading YA.
So do I. And not all adults do, but I love it. And I don't love middle grade fiction as much.
Right.
But I do like the YA because I remember how it felt. And, my kids have been there and it's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It is fun. I like the age group too, and I do like middle graders too. Now,
Mm,
this is my middle grade book, Haven,
yes. Mhm.
and I have other middle grade manuscripts that aren't out. But I have to tell you, it has to be a really really compelling story for me to want to write, for middle grade.
Mhm.
One, it's harder to market, and I'm an
Oh,
indie pub author, right? I publish independently. It's definitely harder to market, so I pick and choose, which topics I really really want for that, for that age group. But I also work with them on writing workshops, and they are amazing writers. They are
oh, yeah.
amazing.
So have you gotten any feedback that's inspired you for any of your young adults or middle grade books?
Well, sometimes people will say, I'm wondering if this will happen in the next book or that'll happen. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't think about that. Or partway through the mystery writing, as people were reading along with me, my critique group, they were like, well, I'm not sure who it is. Is it this person or this person? I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you like who it is. I mean, that's is good. I'm trying to keep you guessing. So nothing. I mean, once in a while you get like the junkie review, or whatever. But mostly when I'm getting feedback, when someone's talking to me, face to face, they're always just curious where I'm going next. And sometimes I don't know because haven't planned it out yet. So
Really?
yeah,
I can't
yeah.
imagine being fly by the seat of my pants on something like this because it's really well put together.
Well, I will. So I will for the. So I do have a rough plot outline for books
Mhm.
5 and 6 for the Circle of Nine series, but the mystery very very loose right now, and that is my next project that I should start probably like by December 1 or so.
A real significant timeline on that one.
Better sit down with a notebook and start brainstorming, I guess. So
Well, we are running out of time,
yes,
but before we get off here today,
Mhm.
I would like to know more about the World Orphan Fund that you and your
Oh,
husband run. And can you share a little bit about that with us?
sure, sure. So, the World Orphan Fund was founded by my husband. I mean, I'm along for the ride. I play a more integral role now than I used to. But in
Yeah.
2010, my husband came home from a mission trip in Honduras, and he said, we have enough friends, Facebook friends, Christmas card friends, whatever. We can do one project a year. And because of our background in business and in politics and whatever, we knew how to form a 501(c)(3), which is a charity in the US. So it was supposed to be small, and this is where the laughter cue should come in. And it grew and grew and grew. We now work in 13 different countries, and
Oh,
it's all for children. And we do things from education projects to building projects to health care projects, emergency food. All different kinds of things. And because we're a small organization, we have a board of directors and everybody has a specialty. But because we are a small organization, we're very our response time's quick and we're very flexible. But mainly, we're looking to change things for orphanages and children's homes and systems in countries that have ideas. They want to do different things. We've got partners on the ground that are amazing. And those folks have a lot of know-how, and a lot of what we're doing is just putting the right resources together to make things a reality. So it's been a crazy ride. Boy, have we learned a lot.
I can imagine. It's wonderful that you guys are willing to help so many others with this and to share
It,
this. So
yeah, and there's so many. I mean, we have a great team of people. Don't but from the donors to the specialists to people who know, about areas like energy efficiencies, all kinds of things. So it's been just an incredible ride. We've gotten more out of it, to be honest, than the work we've put into it.
oh, that's so wonderful. Now,
Thanks for
before we leave
asking.
today, so what else can you share with us or that you would like to share with our audience today?
If you would like to follow me at all, just head on over to my website. That's valeriebiel.com. That is the clearinghouse or the hub of everything. I do provide a lot of author advice and author services, but you can find that information also from there. I mainly with my blog. I hang out on Substack. So follow me over there, and you'll get some bookish stuff, but you'll get a lot of writerly stuff. So you can pick and choose your adventure with me, which way you want to go.
Miss those books.
I do.
Choose
I
your
really
adventure.
like those. Yeah, choose your own adventure.
I still love those.
I kind of still do. We need those for adults. Wait.
Yes, it's so much fun.
Oh, so much fun. Yeah. Why I don't know. Why did we quit? I mean, they still have them, right?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to check into that.
Okay. All right. Well, I digress.
All right, I put Valerie's information in the show notes, so please check her out and check out these books because they are so much fun.
Oh,
So
thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me.
absolutely, Valerie, thank you. And we'll see you soon, partners in crime.